Hello Year 8. Today we are starting our topic of algebra, and today we're going to be looking at the language of algebra as well as substitution and equivalence. So going straight into the examples, in number 1 we want to use the expression 4a plus b minus 12c plus 5, and we want to find a few things about that expression. The first thing we want to do is list the individual terms. The terms are the parts that are separated by the plus or minus signs. So 4a is a term, b is a term, minus 12c is a term, and 5 is a term. To list them, we're just going to write them down with a comma in between. So 4a is a term, b is a term, minus 12c is a term, and 5 is a term. Part B, state the coefficients of A, B, C, and D. So we want to find the coefficient of A, we want to find the coefficient of B, C, and D. There's 4 things there we're going to find. Coefficient means the number in front of that letter. So the coefficient of A, if the A is there, the number in front of it is the 4. So the coefficient is 4. The coefficient of the B, the number in front of the B, if there's no number there, it means it's a 1. The coefficient of the C is not just 12, you need to remember the minus sign, so it'll be minus 12. And the coefficient of D, well, I can't see a letter D there at all. So if the letter's not even there, that means the coefficient is a 0. Part C, what is the constant term? The constant term is the special term that does not have any letters with it. So for this one, the constant term is the 5 that's sitting at the end. Okay, moving on to question 2. We want to write an expression for each of the following. So in these questions, you need to work out what symbol, as in add, subtract, multiply, or divide, that the question is asking you to do, and try and turn the words into an algebraic expression. So for example, in A, it says the sum of 3 and k is what we want to find. Now the word sum means to add or to plus. So that means I want to do 3 plus k. So that's the sum of 3 and k. Whereas in B, it says 5 is added, so added is again a plus sign, to half of k. Half of k means that we want to either, we could write that as half of k, like that, or better way to write it would be just k over 2, that's half of k. And we want to have 5 added to that, so we're going to go plus 5. So k over 2 plus 5, or if you had 5 plus k over 2, that is the same thing. Question 3. Substitute x equals 3 and y equals 6 to evaluate the following expressions. So every time that we see an x, like in this first one, we're going to replace it with the number 3. And anytime we see a y, we're going to replace it with a 6. So you should always show 2 lines of working out. The first line is when you replace the x with the number. So for this one, it's going to be 5 times 3. When they're next to each other, it means they're times, so we put the times sign in. And the second line of working out is that we calculate what that is equal to. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. Okay, let's try part B. It's a little bit harder. So we have first line, we're going to sub in. 5x squared is going to be 5 times by x, which is 3, and then we need to square that, which we can do on the calculator. Then plus 2y would be 2 times by the number for y, which is 6. And then plus x, and x is 3 again. So you don't need to do order operations to work that out. If you have a nice big one like that, you just come to your calculator and you type it in. So you go 5 times 3 squared plus 2 times 6 plus 3, and that's equal to 60. Question 4. Substitute x equals 5, y equals 2, and z equals 4 to evaluate the following expressions. Give your answer corrected 2 decimal places where necessary. So just like in question 3, 2 lines of working out. The first line is to substitute in, and the second one is to calculate the answer. So 6x is going to be 6 times by the x, which up the top here, the number is minus 5. Then we calculate 6 times minus 5, that's equal to negative 30. Okay, let's try the big one, b. Let's look across the top of that fraction. We have 7 minus 8y would be 8 times, and look up here for y is equal to 2, so 8 times 2. Over, now going across the bottom of the fraction, 3x would be 3 times minus 5. Then we want to go plus 4y would be 4 times 2. And then minus 5z would be 5 times 4. Okay, that's quite big, so carefully type that into the calculator. So fraction button first, 7 minus 8 times 2 over 3 times minus 5 plus 4 times 2 minus 5 times 4 equals, and it equals 1/3. Or the question did say to give 2 decimal places, so 1/3 actually goes for decimal. If I press the SD button there, it would be 0.33 as a decimal. Question 4. Substitute a equals minus 3 and b equals 2 into the following expressions and evaluate. So again, 2 lines of working. 2a is going to be 2 times minus 3 because a is minus 3. Second line, that equals negative 6. Part B, substitute in, b is 2 minus a, which is minus 3. So we had a minus from the expression, but we also had a minus from the a, so that's why there's 2 minuses there. 2 minuses make a plus. 2 plus 3 is 5. Or you can use your calculator, that's fine too. Part C. On the top line of the fraction, 4a will be 4 times minus 3. On the bottom of the fraction, we have b, which is 2 plus 1. Then you might want to put that one in the calculator. Using the fraction button, 4 times minus 3 over 2 plus 1, which is equal to negative 4. And D, this is quite a big one, got 2 sets of brackets in here, but we can still do this in 2 lines of working out if we're very careful with how we write it out. So B over 2 would be 2 over 2 plus 5, close bracket, open bracket. 2a is 2 times minus 3 over 3. Minus 1, close bracket. So using the brackets on the calculator, so bracket there, then fraction 2 over 2 plus 5, close bracket, open bracket, 2 times minus 3 over 3, minus 1, close bracket. And it's equal to negative 18. Okay, so that's the end of our theory lesson today. You now need to go to your workbooks and do pages 2 to 7, please.